Hey, good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Blaine Austin here, Sewing Machines Plus. Welcome to our Facebook Live and YouTube Live show. We have a great show lined up today. We actually have Brent Taylor, the owner of Durkee Frames, are going to join us. And also Mike Johns, who's a Baby Lock ambassador, is going to join us later on in the show. But guys, great show lined up. If you've ever wanted to know about some hoops, we feel like Durkee hoops are the greatest hoops out there. We are the #1 Durkee dealer in the world, and so we sell a lot of these things. But we got some guys going to show you how they work this morning, and then Brent's going to talk a little bit about how his company kind of got started and how the process goes of getting these things done. And guess what? We got some great giveaways too, guys. Y'all know that?
Lots of good giveaways today.
Oh yeah,
good giveaways today. So, but today I got Kyle and David and Roger back there behind the scenes.
Guys.
Hey guys, how y'all? Hey, there's Sarah. Hey Sarah, how are you? All the way up in Michigan. And guess what our giveaways are? We have some Durkee frames that we're giving away today, guys. Awesome. We have an Encore, brand new, hot off the press Encore sewing machine. This is an exclusive brand just to Sewing Machines Plus. And we have had extensive testing with this machine. And the results I'm going to share with you about this machine are incredible. They compared it to an Epic 2 Viking, a Luminaire Brother machine, stitches. They did the same stitches with it, and they had a bunch of people try to choose which stitch was which. And guess what? They could not figure out which one was which. So $299 machine. The stitch quality is incredible on it. We're going to give one of those away to a lucky viewer today. And we have our event bags, the swag bags, all the colors that you see here. We're going to give one lucky customer the whole bundle. So you get 8 different bags. They all have unique sayings on the back. I think everybody's seen those. We're going to have those, and we're going to give those away. So basically, we're going to have 3 Durkee prizes and a bag prize and the Encore prize. So 5 prizes in all, 5 winners today. So it's going to be a great show. Want to remind everybody, set your calendar. Hey, there's another Love the Quilt behind me. I'm glad you like this, and I always forget to tell who makes these quilts. This is one. It was a customer of ours named Donna Johnson, and we hired her, and she works for us now. And we love Donna to death. She is a great quilter, prize-winning quilter. And she loaned us the quilt today to put behind us, and we really do appreciate Donna doing that. So thank y'all for pointing the quilt out. All right, so anyway, want to remind everybody, mark your calendars. Next weekend, August 14th and 15th, we're going to have our new product launch extravaganza. And what we're doing is we're bringing in all these different educators from all over the nation. Some are going to be live in our stores, and some are going to come through virtually, but we're going to actually stream and show this whole event for 8 hours live online. So you can be able to, if you're living in Rhode Island, you can tune in and watch the event, and you're going to be just like you're there. You can win prizes, just like if you were sitting in the audience. We're giving over $12,000 worth of giveaways away. So we got some great sewing machines we're giving away. We got tons and tons of stuff. So make sure y'all mark your calendar down. It's going to be August 14th and 15th. We're going to do one day is going to be in our San Marcos retail location, and then the 15th will be in our San Diego location. And we'll just duplicate the show, other than the order may change a little bit. But it's going to be a great show. I can't wait to have it there. And you'll get to see some of the brand new products that are hot off the press. We've got the new Brother 10 needle machine that we're going to launch. We got the new Baby Lock 10 needle machine that we're going to be able to show. We're going to have the new Luminaire 2 and the Solaris 2. Some of the new machines from Viking, some of the new machines from Janome, Handy Quilter, list goes on. We got tons of stuff. Grace has got some new products we're going to show. So it's going to be a full event, fast paced. Every 30 minutes, we're going to have somebody on the stage showing you something new. So You don't want to miss it. It's going to be great. So, guys, are we ready to bring Brett Taylor on?
Yeah.
Is Brett here?
Come on in, Brett.
Welcome. There he is. There's my buddy
I'm
Brett.
here.
How you doing, bud?
How's everybody doing?
Oh, man, we're doing great. We're doing great.
Good,
So,
thanks for having us.
man, we're so happy to have you on. And I don't know how long you and I have known each other, but we met, it has to be back in 13 or 14. I don't remember exactly, but you came to one of my events that we were doing. And it was just like I met you, and it was like we've known each other our whole life.
Yep, absolutely. We just renewed the relationship.
Yeah, just hit it off, and so anyway, we've been working together. And I remember I moved to California and came to Sewing Machines Plus, a new company for me. And I told you, I called the very first call. I started on July 9th in 2018 with this company. And I called you that day. You were the first person I called when I got here, and I said, I want to set our company up with your hoops, and I'm going to be your number one dealer. What happened?
And guess what you did? 2019 Dealer of the Year, largest Durkee dealer in the world. And thank you very much.
Hey, man, we thank you.
Yeah.
It's we love your product. I tell you, it's and speaking of your product, I want to kind of just share, with our audience a little bit about your company and about the product, because I tell people the quality of the product is just unbelievable. I mean, and I've seen you do things, Brett, that's just remarkably, even with customers. I mean, I've had customers. I remember we were working a show one time. We had a customer came up that had a little bit of problem with their hoop about something. And you hands down said, I'll send you a brand new one. I mean, you just sent it out, didn't even blink an eye, took care of it. You stand 100% behind your product. So tell us a little bit about the whole process and how you developed it and the whole about your company.
Sure. Well, thank you, Blaine. The company is about 14 years old. We, a guy by the name of, what a surprise, Mike Durkee, started the company about 14 years ago. And we bought it 11 years ago. And what we bought was a company that had literally 8 plastic, round, square, and rectangular commercial embroidery hoops. That's what we bought, and that's all there was. And it's kind of interesting now when we go to a trade show and we set up a 20-foot wide booth, and you don't see hardly any plastic hoops. We've added a bit to the offering. But the main thing that happened was all of the hoops that were originally part of the company were driven for the commercial industry, for commercial machines. And then just a couple of years into the business, we were introduced to the home side of the business, and the opportunities we felt were vast to offer products that were designed specifically for quality, durability, ease of use. I love talking with customers, as you've seen at trade shows, and where we get all of our ideas is simply by listening and asking questions. And from that, products started developing. I guess the most important thing that it launched us in the home market was our single needle cap frame. I laugh when I say this at a trade show. If you've ever heard me go through my little spiel, it's kind of funny. I stand there with a very straight face, and I have a lot of the caps lined up in front of me, and a customer will walk up and I say, hi, do you do caps? No. Why not? Hate them. Why do you hate them? You got to take the arms off the stupid machine. You got to put this round thing on there, and you got to digitize the round. And when it's all over with, you got something about that big. And I say, really? And so when I do that, I say, would this make a difference to you if you could do something like this? And maybe you could do the back of the cap as well. And what about if you could do the sides? And they go, how do you do that? And so it's a lot of fun. and we simply took the intimidation process out of cap frames, and this is the flat cap frame. So rather than having to take your machine apart to put another system on there, this simply goes on your machine just like a regular hoop, and you're sewing flat, so you don't have to digitize for round. Basically, it's the same as doing a left or right chest embroidery. So that was the first product that we came out for the home market, followed closely thereafter by something I think you have laying on your desk in front of you, which was the single needle cap frame. And it's an insert that simply fits into the 5x7 hoop that came with your brother or baby lock machine. And I want to be specific that single needle insert is for brother or baby lock. So that was the second thing that we came out with. The next product that we came out with was was a product that we call Easy Frames. And once again, I'm not going to take too much time to tell you the story, but I was at a trade show and I heard a couple of ladies discussing this other product, and I won't mention its name, but it ended up they were talking about how bouncy and flimsy it was. And the thing that most people don't think about, as I've learned in this industry, most people understand there's an X-axis, that is moving left to right on an embroidery machine. There's a Y moving back and forth. But most people don't think about the Z, and the Z is the needle going up and down. So just imagine if you've got a frame that's bouncing like a diving board and you're trying to put a needle into it and create good, even registration, how hard that would be. So we simply came up with a new product that we call Easy Frames. And Easy Frames are a very durable, very strong 3/16 inch anodized aluminum product. Again, with a Brother Baby Lock machine, these arms fit, the blue adapter arm fits right into the A arms of your machine. And I know in a few minutes, Mike Johns is going to be demonstrating that for you, but this is it. Two very large fluted knobs. And once again, we try to think of things that people in this industry, I think, need. For example, I'm not a spring chicken. In about 3 weeks, I'm going to turn 70 years old. And I know there's a lot of people out there that have some of the same problems I have. I've got arthritis in my hands, carpal tunnel syndrome. So when you're trying to use a two-piece traditional plastic hoop, it's always the yin and the yang. Is it too tight? If it is, you get hoop burn. Is it too loose? If it is, you get hoop pop off and you can lose the fabric. So we came up with a different way to do it, and it's called Easy Frames, which Mike will be demonstrating in a few minutes. And that product's been, it's just been phenomenal. So with that, all of our products, I would like to make sure everyone knows this, all of our products are not only made in the USA, all of our frames and hoops are made literally within 30 miles of our office, and we're located just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'm very much USA. I'm a US veteran from Vietnam, and so I support our country very strongly.
I love that about you, Brett. I do that. I love that, the whole story. And that's one of the things I just admire and respect about you. Got the great story. And hey, and speaking of the Easy Frames, so that's one of our giveaways that we're going to give away today is the Easy Frame set. And actually, it has a bunch of different sizes that fit in your frame. And this is for the multi-needle Brother or Baby Lock multi-needle. The other one is the hat frame for the Brother or Baby Lock multi-needle. And then we have the one that Brett showed was the one that fits the 5x7, and it is the hat frame, and it fits in a 5x7. And this is for your flatbed machines, single needle that will be for Brother or Baby Lock. Hey, there's Reen Wilcoxon. Hey, Reen. I love Reen too. So, Brett, you have some news that it's going to be something you're going to announce that first on our show. Nobody in the world knows about this yet. So we have something new we're going to share that's going to it's a game changer. Is that right?
We think that it is, and we think that a lot of customers are going to really like this. As you are very well aware, Brother has had the machine, and Baby Lock, Brother's had the machine out now for 2 or 3 or 4 years, called the PRS 100. It's a single needle, but a free arm, tubular arm machine. If you will, in construction, it looks like a multi-needle. Only difference is it's one needle. That little machine, we refer to it as a tank. It's just as solid as it can. It's a great, great, great machine. If you ask customers that have the machine, if you could change any one thing about it, what would you change? 9 out of 10 people say the same thing. We'd like to have a larger sewing field. So for those of you that have either considered purchasing that machine, and that's been perhaps something holding you back, or if you're watching this right now and you happen to have either a Brother PRS 100 or a Baby Lock Alliance, well, the waiting is now over. We are introducing, yesterday, Brother had their annual convention, and it's called B2B. And Brother has created with us a 1-year exclusive on 2 new frames. This is an 8-inch by 14-inch sewing field. We call it a sturdy frame because it is, believe me, very sturdy. Once again, the frame is made out of anodized aluminum, and the brackets are made out of stainless steel. And I don't know if I mentioned this earlier or not, but all of our products are warranted for life. So if you've ever got a problem with one of our products, just let us know and we'll take care of it. But this is an 8x14 sewing field. Now, the way this is going to work is really very simple. If you have PE Design software, versions 9 through 11, or as I understand it, palette software from Baby Lock is identical, parallel to PE Design. If you have that software, when you get one of these hoops, and I need to say this one more time, the only place in the world you're going to be able to buy this hoop for the next 12 to 15 months is from a brother dealer. If you try to buy from us, you won't find it on our website. Don't call us. We can't sell it to you. We're glad to talk to you about it, but we can't sell it to you. So a brother dealer is the only place you can get it. Now, when you get the frame, in the package with the frame, there's going to be written instructions, front and back. And again, you mentioned Cindy Hogan earlier. Cindy did all of the work on this. She did all the leg work. She's done all the testing, and absolutely love it. And everything matches up perfectly. The way it's created with your software is what's called a split design. So you will literally create your split design with your software, which she tells you how to do. You'll put the frame in. You'll stitch the top half, take the frame out, turn it around, put it back in the opposite way, and then stitch the bottom half. She walks you through. There are 2 videos that brother has. I think they're online now. If they're not, they will be in a couple of days. So all of that's coming to you. That's for the PRS 100 and for the Baby Lock Alliance. But same situation is there for the 6 and 10 needle, the 6 needle machines from Brother and Baby Lock. Same thing. You have basically a 12 by 8 rounded numbers, 12 by 8 sewing field, but now this is 12 by 14. So same exact process. If you buy this frame for the 6 needle machine, instead of doing 12 by 8, you'll be able to do 12 by 14. Now, the other little thing that goes with this is there's an awful lot of software out there. Lisa Shaw, if you know the name, if you don't know the name, Lisa's with a major software company called Embrilliance. Lisa, I talked with last week. She tells me she will be releasing step-by-step instructions for how to use these frames with Embrilliance software. And Mike Johns, I think, can tell you in a minute, I think that's the same as Embroidery Works, but I know Embrilliance, a lot of people use it. They'll be able to use it with these frames. So that's new, and that's official right now. And knowing you, being who you are, I'm going to suspect, Blaine, that you've already bought some and have them on the way. How's that guess?
You would probably be a good guesser there, Brett. When I found out about these, I got on the phone and secured some, and which there's not many in the country yet. But Sewing Machines Plus will have them, and we have them on the way, and we will be selling those. And we're going to actually have a package that you can buy the PE design with the frame, or we can sell it separately as well. So that's great news, because anybody out there that has a 6 needle or a Persona or an Alliance can now expand their embroidery field. Before, you can only do an 8 by 8 with the Persona. Now you can do an 8 by 14, and the 6 needle, now you're going to be able to do a 12 by 14, which is a game changer to me. I just think that's so incredible.
Absolutely correct. Anytime I think that you can take what you have and get more out of it than you originally got when you bought it, I think that's a good thing. And somebody surely is going to ask the price, and I'm very sorry, I can't tell you the price. I don't know. I'm about 90% sure it's well under $200. Blaine, maybe you know.
I actually don't know the price either. I didn't even know the cost. I just ordered them and told them I had to have them.
My best guess is going to be $170, $80, somewhere in that neighborhood. So
yeah, we were thinking probably $199. We didn't know. We figured it'd be right around $200. Don't know yet. And then, but we'll have that pricing all worked out. We're hoping to get it all done today, this afternoon, and we'll try to get them up on our website as soon as possible with the pricing where y'all can start ordering them. It's going to be a great thing. And speaking of ordering, everybody who's watching this show today, everybody's going to be a winner if you're wanting some hoops, because we are going to have a huge discount for anybody who is watching the show today. But the only way you can get that discount is we're going to have a link to a Google sheet that you just go in there and put your name and phone number, and we're going to have, and what you're wanting, like, you're interested in the Durkee frames, and we're going to have somebody call you directly and tell you what the discount is. The discount is so good, we can't even announce it on air. And so it's the biggest one we've ever done with Durkee, and it's going to be a great, great price. So if you're interested in a frame or even these new frames, we're gonna honor the discount even on these new frames and pre-order. And this is going to go for the next 7 days from today. So till next Thursday, we're going to offer this special. And so you can just do the Google Sheet, send it in. Somebody's going to call you and take your order right over the phone and give you that discount. So great thing. Can't wait to do this, Brett. We've been excited about this show for a while now.
Well, thank you, Blaine. And before I leave it to you and let you go, if you'll allow me to do a tease, I'm going to tease everybody. We never stop looking, and I mean that sincerely. We never stop looking for ways to come up with new products, new ideas that can make the embroidery process easier, faster, safer, more fun, whatever. We have a whole new product line that we're going to be launching, I think, in about 4 to 6 weeks. The product line is in testing right now. Everything's going fantastic. And if it goes the way we think it's going to go, again, we should be in production in about 4 to 6 weeks. And that product will be released. And I cannot tell you what it is right now. That product will be released along with instructions, videos, introduction videos, and all that stuff. So stay tuned to Durkee. We're trying to help the best we can. And we sincerely want to say, before I say goodbye, literally thank you to the thousands of people across the United States and frankly around the world that use our products and say such nice things. We're so grateful to you. And if we can ever be of assistance, please let us know. With that, Blaine, thank you. And please let Mike do his thing.
We will. And hey, one thing I wanted to before you get off, I just really want to thank you for working with us and always being innovative and coming out with new products. And one thing I want to get a commitment out of you. So when this new product is coming out, will you agree to come back and launch it on our show?
I cannot imagine doing it anywhere else. I'd love to. Love to.
That's good news. And I know all of our viewers are going to love that too. So when hopefully in a few months, when that's ready to launch, we can get you back on here and we'll show them all the new products. So that'll be awesome. So
that's great.
Hey, I know you're a busy guy. We sure do appreciate you coming on today and taking the time and spending with us. And anyway, we'll be talking to you soon, Brett. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Blaine. And I'm going to hang on just to listen in case anybody's got a question. I'll be here to try to answer for you.
All right. Sounds great.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. Well, y'all heard it from the owner of Durkee Frames, Brett Taylor. Great guy. Met him. I can't remember back how many years ago it was. And he came to one of my events that we did and came. And so, really just hit it off with him, and he's just a good guy. He really cares about his customers, and he supports all the dealers. If I have any kind of problems with anything with the customer, he's always there for me. So I appreciate that. So hey, look like we just popped in Mike Johns.
Hey everybody.
Hey Mike. So Mike, if everybody doesn't know, Mike is a Baby Lock ambassador, and you know those Durkee hoops pretty good, don't you?
Pretty good.
Pretty good. So everybody always asks me, well, I hear all about these Durkee hoops all the time, but I really don't know how they work. And so I wanted to have somebody that I knew used them and has a multi-needle machine. And I wanted you to kind of show, what you do and how you use them, even, how you clean them. I know that I've had those questions, how you clean them. And I want you to kind of explain the whole process of doing it, because I know a lady, I talked to you on the phone just about 3 months ago, I think it was. And matter of fact, you came and did a little California tour. You remember that?
I did, yeah.
Came out to our stores and we did an event. And it wasn't too long after that, I had a lady come up to me in one of the stores and she said, hey, I hear all about these Durkee hoops. And she goes, I need something. She goes, I've started a home-based business. She goes, and she's selling on Etsy. And she said, I need something, it's all about production. She goes, I've got one machine. She goes, and I need to be able to hoop fast. And she goes, and I know y'all were talking about, she goes, I didn't get a chance to see Mike when he came out, but I've seen videos and things and heard about these are the frames you want because of the speed. So I told her, I said, this is the reason. So I want you to kind of tell everybody why that's a big thing.
Yeah, so absolutely. So everything that Durkee makes, first, Brent's got a great product. The product itself is quality, and a lot of times when we go out and buy aftermarket products in general, It's kind of a hit or miss, whether or not they're going to be something that you're going to use on a regular basis or something that you're just going to kind of tuck away in a corner and forget about. And I know that, I'm standing here in my studio in Southwest Georgia right now, and there's probably quite a few corners where things are kind of stuck away that I just don't use anymore. But the Durkee product just has got such a great quality to it and such an ease of use. And I think once people see just how easy it is to use, you'll understand why it's something that I keep in my arsenal all the time. And it's probably it is my go-to frame whenever I'm using both my single needles and my multi needles, excuse me. So I use it for both machines all of the time. The ease of use comes from the fact that it is literally what we call a hoopless hoop. It doesn't even have an inside and an outside hoop. It only has one piece to it for the frame itself. So you don't have to worry about things like hoop burn. You don't have to worry about things like if you've got carpal tunnel, trying to tighten up that tension screw. You don't have to worry about trying to get thick products nested between two different parts of the hoop or anything like that. So it just makes the process a lot simpler. And then when you're talking about things like small businesses, people that have to be able to hoop quickly and move to the next thing, the nice thing about the process is that if I'm doing, let's say I'm doing a ball cap, because we're actually going to show you how to hoop a ball cap here in a few minutes. If I'm doing a ball cap, if I'm using the typical drum attachment that we would have on our multi-needle machines, unless I've spent the money to buy 2 sets of those cap frames, then I'm only going to be able to do one at a time. And then even if I do have 2 going at a time, it's a little bit more of a complicated process to actually hoop, because a lot of people look at those cap drums and they kind of think it looks scary, right? It's one of those things that's kind of intimidating. And I'm not disparaging the cap drums by any means, because I use those just as well. But the cap frame itself, once you get used to it, you can hoop a cap in just a minute or two. And for the cost of what you would have to spend for one cap drum, you could actually buy 4 of the Durkee cap frames. And that way you could literally have a production line going to where while you've got one sewing, you could actually be doing the next one on your frame and then kind of just move through the process. So it just is a really simplification of your entire workflow. And I think really and truly the other thing is it takes a little bit of the stress out of worrying about proper hooping, right? Because a lot of people who do production, they do garments, and garments are one of those things that if you hoop incorrectly, the results when you're finished is just horrible, because if you stretch the knit or you hoop it too tight, or like Brent mentioned, if you hoop it too loose and it pops out, you've kind of ruined that piece, and you either spend the time picking it out and starting over, or you do like a lot of people do, you throw that piece away and then you go get another one and start over. So that costs your business money. So I think really and truly that when you use these and you use them properly, and the more accustomed you get to them, it just speeds up the process, and it just gives you a wonderful, really, really nice ending looking product. The finish on it is incredible. And I think that I've seen people who have struggled with like the puckering and all that kind of stuff on traditional hoops. We get them over on Durkee hoops, and the minute they do their first project on a Durkee hoop, they don't have any puckering because they're not overstretching that fabric, or they're not they're not having to worry about putting both the piece of stabilizer and the garment inside of a hoop, that kind of thing. So I think it just simplifies the process overall.
So, that's kind of what I try to explain. And I didn't explain it near as well as what you just did. It's I had a lady one time thought they were magnetic, and I said, no, they're not magnetic. There's one piece. There's no 2 pieces to this. It's, and it's not like your typical hoop that you have to try to push together with the fabric and then tighten it up. I said, there's nothing about this. So if you could, let's go ahead and show somebody. And I know the hats have been the biggest game changer to me of how you could do the hats. And, this fits in if you can imagine just your regular hoop, this will fit inside of a 5x7. And then you put the hat under this part. So I think if you could just show us, Mike, exactly how to do a hat, I think that'd be
absolutely.
great.
So I'm gonna turn my camera around here. So give me a second. This is gonna be wobbly for a minute or so. So I'm gonna turn my camera around, and here on my table, I've got to lower my camera here. Here on the table, I've actually got several of the Durkee products kind of lined up so that you can really see what all is in the Durkee family, so to speak. So you've got here on this side, this is what's called the Durkee Easy Frame family. And this is predominantly what I've got up here at the top. This is all for your multi-needles, but we don't want to leave out our single needle people as well, because this is actually the easy frames for the single needles. So these actually will replace the hoops that came with your machine. The nice thing about the single needle easy frames is that these actually are recognized by your machine. So when you slide this in, like for instance, this is my 4x4. Whenever I slide this into my machine's actually going to know that I have a 4x4 frame in. And so there's no worry. You still want to trace your design because it is an aftermarket product. It's not a product that was made by Baby Locker Brother, but it does recognize it, and it will make sure that it knows what sewing field it can work on. Brent has made these available in every size that you can possibly imagine for the Baby Locker Brother machine. So it goes from as small as the 4x4 all the way up to the gigantic 10 5/8 by 16. So this would actually fit the Luminaire and the Solaris. So you've got a wide variety of sizes there. And then as far as the actual easy frames for the multi-needle machine, which is what I got laid out up here, there are more sizes than I could actually lay out here because I don't have the room. But the nice thing about it is that they're all interchangeable. So they go all the way down to, I think the smallest one is 1.5 inches by 4 inches, all the way up to 8 by 12, which the 8 by 12 is what I've got kind of laying back here in the background. And you can see there's just a huge variety. Now, the easy frames for multi-needles, the one thing that we do want to make sure everybody understands is that your machine will not recognize the size of these frames, because to use the easy frames for the multi-needle, we have to use an adapt arm. And you see 2 adapt arms sitting up here at the top, and I'll talk about the difference in a second. But you're going to connect whatever size frame that you're going to be using to your adapt arm, and then your adapt arm is going to connect to the A-frame on your machine. So you would actually set up your A-frame that came with your machine. If you're on a 10 needle, it needs to be in the 8 by 12 position. Same thing for the 6 needle. If you're on the Alliance or the Persona, that's what the smaller frame is for up here. So it would be in its widest position, so 8 by 8. So their Persona will take these frames as well. Granted, you're not going to be able to use like the 8 by 12, but you can definitely use most of the sizes on the Persona. Over on the side here, you'll see I've got the cat frame for the multi-needle. And those are available for the 6 needle, the 10 needle, the Persona, the Alliance, all of those. They're different. They are definitely available. You just to make sure when you talk to your retailer, if you have the Persona or the Alliance, that you tell them that that's the size you need, because the brackets will be a little bit different for that particular cat frame. This is the one we're going to use here in just a second. So I'm going to set it aside. And then last but not least here, we've got what's called a sturdy frame. Now, brent just showed you guys the premiere of his new multi-position sturdy frame. That is part of a line. There's actually several sturdy frames in the lineup. So this is the 7 7/8 by 14. We also have one that is 7 7/8 by 12. We have a 14 by 14. So for those of you who have the 10 needle, you can actually get the 14 by 14 in the sturdy frame. And then there's an 8 by 8. So these are sturdy frames, then our cat frame, and then our easy frames. So you've got a wide variety here of different frames that you can use. I've got this on the table just because I know that we get asked all the time about sticky back stabilizer. These products do work with sticky back stabilizer. That is how we recommend that you use them. And a lot of people will say that they don't like sticky back stabilizer because it gums up their machine, it gums up their needle. And I will absolutely agree with that. It does if you use lower quality product. This actual sticky back stabilizer is from a company called Gnold. And I know that, Blaine, you guys sell it there at Sewing Machine Plus. But this is the brand that, after a lot of testing and a lot of going through and trying different products, this was the one that we found that we liked the most, because it doesn't gum up your needle and transfer to your machine. So you have a little bit of a less of a maintenance issue whenever you talk about using this particular one. So this is the brand that we use. If you ever see me do videos on them, this is what I've used in the videos, and that's what I'm going to be using today. So this is called Filmoplast, and it's from a company called Gnold. And this is available both in black and white. So you'll see in a few minutes that I'm going to bring out both black and white pieces. So I think you mentioned that we wanted to do the cat frame first. So I'm going to...
Yeah, let's do the cat frame. And just for everybody will know, we actually have the Gnold product. We have it in 3 different sizes. And guys, can we have the link that we can show on our website by chance? They're going to put it in the chat too, but there's the link you can go to the page and see it. But we'll put it in the chat, link for the chat. If y'all can see that, y'all can go to it and look at it that way. All right, let's go back and show. He's going to do a hoop now. Let's show, all right, Roger.
All right, so first and foremost, this is my frame. So we're going to do it on the multi-needle frame. This will be the exact same process whether you're on the multi-needle or the single needle cap frame. The only difference is that the single needle cap frame, you would use your 5x7 hoop that came with your machine, and the actual cap frame will sit down inside the outer hoop, the outer ring of the 5x7 hoop. So that will be the only difference. The multi-needle does not need any additional hoop. It's going to connect onto your A-arm just like normal. But for the single needle, you would actually put it inside of your 5x7 outer hoop of your frame. So we're going to take our hoop here. We're going to turn it over because we're going to start by working on the back of our hoop. And here's that piece of film of glass that I was talking about. So I've just got a piece that's pre-cut. I'm going to peel off the back here. And of course, you know, when you try to peel off on camera, it's always the worst, right? So there you go. And then the way that I do it is I always turn, I'm kind of working at an angle here so the camera's, and not as I'm kind of straddling the camera. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cover this opening in my frame. That's the only part I need to worry about, just the main opening. This right here doesn't need to be covered. As a matter of fact, this is actually here so that you can actually pick it up. It's thumb holes, that kind of thing. You don't need to have stabilizer on it. We're only going to worry about stabilizer over the main opening. So the way that I always do mine is I put the base of the frame towards me, and then I take my stabilizer and line it up so that it is right above those two holes. And then all you're going to do is pull it taut. Okay. So all I did was just pull that tight so that it's nice and tight. You can hear it's kind of like a drum. And then we are through with the back of the frame. We're going to turn the frame over. Now, if you see that you've got some wrinkles and things like that in there, you can always pull your stabilizer away and tighten that back up. So let's get that nice and smooth. There we go. Does it have to be absolutely positively smooth? No, it doesn't. I'm just a little bit of a stickler about it being smooth as possible, but we're going to get it to a point. We're just going to say that's good enough for now. You just don't want to have big, huge wrinkles and waves in your stabilizer whenever you get it on there. So that looks pretty good. What I'm going to do now is you don't want to wrap this excess stabilizer up over the top of the frame, because if you do, it's going to be really, really hard to clean your frame up later. So what I just do is take my rotary cutter, and then I just cut around the edge of my actual frame, and you can see it kind of ripped it instead of cut it. So now we're ready to go. We can actually start putting this cap onto our frame. So the first thing you're going to do is loosen these two wing nuts that are here on the bottom. This is your bill plate. So we've got to get this to where we can slide the bill of our cap in here. So open that up. And then you've got to do a couple of things to your cap before you can use it. So first and foremost, most caps come with cardboard in them. Take that out. And I know that's funny to say, but you'd be surprised how many times we teach classes on this and we get through with the process and they've actually stitched through this cardboard. So take that out and discard it. You don't need it any longer. Now I'm doing this for the demo purpose. I'm doing an unstructured hat. Structured hats work on this perfectly fine as well. The only thing you have to remember about structured caps versus non-structured cap is whenever you're doing a structured cap, it's going to take a little bit of your sewing field away just because of the fact that you have to give it a little bit of extra room for your needle. That's all. But you can still do structured caps. I'm going to go ahead and open the back opening on my cap. If your cap does not have this back closure, that's fine, right? So if you've got one of those flex brim caps, still works. Don't worry about it. But if you do have an opening back here, go ahead and open it up. And then you're going to flatten your bill out. So just go ahead and flatten that bill. Now, I always tell people when we're teaching classes that if they do this for a customer and the customer brings the cap to you, don't let them see you do that part because it'll break their heart. People spend a lot of time getting that cap perfectly curved. So don't let them see you do it. Do it under the counter or something so nobody can see you. Then the last thing that we have to worry about is this. This is called the sweatband. And almost every cap that you find out there is going to have a sweatband on it. And we have to get that out of the way because if this lays flat, whenever we flatten this out and we sew through it, what's going to happen is it's actually going to wind up creating a little tuck right here in the front of the hat. And it'll make the hat where, believe it or not, you won't actually be able to wear it. It won't fit on your head. So we actually have to get this out of the way. There's a couple of ways to do this. If you don't trust that you can get it out and get it out of the way and keep it out of the way without any assistance, what you can do is take a piece of double-sided tape and put here on the bill. And then you just fold the sweatband back and connect it down with the double-sided tape. That's one method. The method that I actually prefer, because I don't like having to clean the double-sided tape up, is I'm just going to turn this entire sweatband inside out. And the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to kind of grab the sweatband and then just flip it. And you can see the whole cap kind of rolls up. And now you can see on the back here that my sweatband is wanting to go towards the bill and not towards the cap. Now, one thing to note is that caps are going to have this little excess seam allowance in here. You cannot get that out of the way, but that's okay. You're not going to be sewing that far down anyway, so you won't catch that. You're only going to worry about the sweatband itself. Once you've got that sweatband flipped, the only thing left to do now is put it onto our frame. So one thing to note is that the frame has a centering notch at the top and a centering notch here at the bottom. So that's what we're going to use to line this up. I'm going to turn this away from me so that the bill can slide into the bill clamp. And what I'm doing, I don't know if you guys can see this, but I'm actually making sure that that sweatband stays flat. So as I'm sliding this in, I'm kind of doing it by holding the sweatband. And that's going to help make sure that that sweatband's completely out of the way. I'm going to line up my center seam here with that center of that notch that's down on my bill plate. And then once I've got it to where I'm pretty happy with it, what I'm going to do is loosely tighten the two wing nuts. Now, two things to remember. Notice that I did not take the wing nuts completely off. I only loosened them. I always tell people don't take them all the way off, because if you take them all the way off, there's a washer system that's as part of this. And if you take that wing nut off, the chances of you losing that washer are pretty good. So don't take it all the way out. Just loosen it, slide your bill in and tighten it down. The other thing is you notice that I pulled my cap so that where the where the bill and the crown of the cap are sewn together is right up against that frame. So that's how I always start my cap, but we'll talk about when we can adjust that in just a second. Once I've got that done, I'm going to take and rotate this towards the back again, and then I'm going to pull my cap up. And the first thing I'm going to do is kind of look inside of the cap, and you'll see here's the actual curve of the cap, and there's that sweatband. So if we left this the way it is right now and we sewed, we would actually wind up sewing through that. So what you're going to do is you're just going to take and down on a flat surface, you're going to tuck that sweatband out of the way. So you're just kind of folding it up underneath the cap. And if you do it correctly, you'll see that your hat kind of smiles at you. It's kind of got like a smiley shape to it. And now I don't have any risk whatsoever of stitching into that sweatband. So it's perfectly out of the way and not going to give me any trouble at all. From that point on, it's really simple. All you're going to do is take that bias strip that's here covering up that seam, and we're going to line it up with that center notch here at the top. So I'm going to take and I'm going to push down right here towards the front. Then I'm going to line up that seam. I'm going to push my seam down, because once my seam's down, that's the most important part. I've got that down. I know that it's straight from this point forward. All I have to do is smooth out my stabilizer. Smooth out my cap onto the stabilizer. And because we're using that sticky back stabilizer, it's going to hold it in place. And it gives me a really nice, clean area to work on and to sew on. I'm going to make sure that little brass buckle is kind of tucked up out of the way. And then I'm going to take this over to my machine and add it into my machine, and I'll be ready to stitch. Okay. Now, one of the reasons we like SewingMachinesPlus is because it's it's not super sticky. That means that it's a kind of a medium tack. And if I needed to reposition this cap, like if I had it, I get it down and I look at it and I'm like, that's not straight. I can literally just pull the cap up, reposition it, and I won't tear up my stabilizer. It'll still be there and it won't transfer to the hat. So if you want to see what I mean by that, if I pull this up now, you notice none of that adhesive's on my hat. It's still on the actual stabilizer itself. Once I get that back down though, I am ready to stitch. And that is all you need to do. Now, keep in mind that this fits on your machine in the 8x12 position as well. And because of that, your machine does not realize what the size of your sewing field is. So you actually have to go through the process of using some of the built-in features on your machine to trace around the stitch area here so that you make sure that you don't hit that frame, that opening in that frame. One of the things we get asked a lot about is, how can I get my design closer down to the bill of my cap? Well, if you want to do that, right now, if I was to sew it exactly the way I've got it framed, I would actually only be able to get down to about right here, because I've got to give some room for my foot not to hit the actual metal of the frame itself. But if you wanted to bring your design down just a little bit closer, well, this is how hard that is. All you're going to do is loosen up your bill clamp just a little bit. pull that cap frame up, and then you're just going to pull the bill back just a little bit. And now you notice that I don't have the seam between the two all the way down to the plate. I have it actually extended back some. And now when I put this down, okay, now when I get this down, I can literally sew all the way up to right there. So I can get really low on this. So you can get really, your designs can really fill up that entire front of the cap. We also always tell people when we're teaching this, most caps have what they call little sweat eyelets or sweat holes here at the very top, these little eyelets that are sewn in. Now this one happens to be sewn. You can find some that have metal eyelets on here. You don't want to sew over them if they're metal, obviously, because that'll break your needle. But if they are sewn in, you still really don't want to go much higher than what these two eyelets are, because this is the point of the cap where the cap actually starts to turn to the top of your head. So if you have your embroidery design going up here, well, then part of your embroidery design is actually going to be sitting on the top of your head and not on the front of the cap. So your stitch area really for your hat is going to be kind of from those eyelets down to however low you can get on the front of the crown itself. But that's how easy it is to actually just do a ball cap. So you can see I could have this one hooped now, have this one over on my machine, have a second hoop, get it hooped. By the time this one gets through stitching, I've already got another one ready to go. Once you get done, you just take and lift this off. The tearaway will stay behind the stitches, but it'll tear out of the stabilizer itself. If you're doing a design like a circle patch or something like that, and it tears a perfect circle into the design back here, you could actually just patch your stabilizer. You don't have to put a whole new piece of stabilizer on. You can just cut a piece that's just big enough to cover the hole, patch it, and then use that stabilizer again. The one thing we tell people about that is you only want to patch probably 2 or 3 times. That's it. After that, you're going to start to get a buildup of layers of stabilizer, and you'll start getting some thickness to your design, and you don't really want to do that. So that's the cap frame.
That's awesome. You know, and Mike, I've seen you do this, and I know that whole process, it might have looked a little slow for people. You were going really slow and kind of making sure that everybody was, showing you, you were showing them how to exactly do it. But I know I've seen you do that, and you can do it extremely fast. So,
yeah.
So just for people that are thinking about, well, how's this going to help me production? Well, production wise, while you can do this really fast, while that first one is sewing, you're going to take that second one and already have another hat, ready to go. And as soon as it's done embroidering, you're going to throw that on there, swap out the second one, or the first one, you're going to swap it out with the third hat, and just keep going. And you just keep doing that back and forth. And I mean, you can do a dozen hats in no time.
Oh, absolutely. I would say that on average for me to actually throw a hat on here where it was just me standing in front of my cutting table, not straddling a camera and trying to talk and demo and all, I would say that I could put a cap on the frame there in probably about a minute. It really is a fast process. It's not something that takes any amount of time. And honestly, the more you do it, the faster you get at it as well. So we never want to discourage anybody from when they do it the first time. If they do it the very first time and it takes them 10 minutes, that's perfectly fine, right? Because you're learning the process, you're learning how to do it. By the time you get to the third or fourth cap, you're flying, you're good to go. You've got it down pat, you've got it to where you know how to tackle it and how to make it work. And honestly, if you're doing a run, like if you're a business, we're talking business here, but remember, this isn't just for business owners as well. It's for the home sewist. It's for somebody who's got kids or grandkids, or even for, you and your spouse or what have you. It's fun to make your own caps. You can get very custom stuff, and there's all kind of designs out there right now. You can do puff embroidery, you can do logo embroidery, that kind of stuff. But once you get used to it, it's a super, super, super fast process. And if you were doing a production line, I would venture to say that if you had 2 of the same frame, you would be set, because by the time you get one sewn, you've already got the other one ready to go. So it's pretty simple. And the more you play with it, the easier it gets, for sure.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. And, the thing is, I know, go to these conventions, and when they teach you new things, and it's always a little intimidating. And I remember the first time I was on a multi-needle, and I actually used one of the round cylinder hat frames. Just looking at it to me was, intimidating. And it's like anything else, there's always that learning curve. But this method, to me, it just was so much easier to me. Yeah. I mean, it's easy to line up because it has those, the notches in it for the centering notches, and it was super easy. So Yeah, I know the hat to me was easy, but the t-shirt, doing the t-shirt is even,
It's
oh my
even
gosh.
faster. Yeah.
Oh,
So let's flip around and do that really quick. This takes
yeah,
no
I want
time at
everybody
all.
to see how easy it is to do a shirt. The shirts to me, if you're wanting to do a bunch of shirts for somebody, this, you have to have one of these frames. I mean, it is to me the only way to go.
So I'm going to be using our 5" by 4" easy frame for the multi-needle to do the shirt. So I have in my shop, I'm a baby lock educator as you were mentioned earlier. So my shop's full of baby lock machines. So we're going to say I'm using this to do my Valiant or my Venture. And then I'm going to come in here and grab the size. Now, when we talk about sizes, keep in mind that there are a wide variety of sizes for this available through Durkee Hoops. He has pretty much, if you can think of a size, he has one. And I'm going to be using the 5" by 4". And the reason that I'm using this is because the design that I'm going to be putting on this is 4 inches in width, but it's only 2.5 inches tall. You always want to pick the hoop that's one size bigger than what the actual embroidery design that you're going to stitch is. And the reason that I say that is because if you give yourself that little bit of wiggle room, then you do not have to be as precise about your alignment, because nowadays our machines have so many wonderful built-in tools for alignment that we can take advantage of those. So like if you've got the Baby Lock or the Brother 10 needle, or with the camera, you can use those positioning stickers. And that's what I'm actually going to be showing right now, is using a positioning sticker. But if you don't, maybe you've got the 6 needle, and the 6 needle has that needle laser. So you could use that to do your alignment. There's just a wide variety of ways that you can get your alignment in there. But if you go ahead and move up one size in your frame, it makes things so much easier. So I've got
Hey,
a piece of, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, but we had somebody was asking about, it actually putting it on the machine. So do you have one of your multi needles? So after you get it all framed up, can we show them how it actually goes on the machine? And then we could even do the hat that way. And do you happen to have a flatbed machine there?
I do, but I can't get the camera over to it right now.
Okay.
But I can do it on the multi-needle for sure.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I'd like to show them exactly what it looks like while you're putting it on after you get it hooped up.
Yeah,
After you
we'll slide the cap on and the shirt. We'll do both.
Okay, perfect. That'll be great.
So my 5x4, I'm going to do the same thing I did with my cap frame. I'm going to turn it over so that I'm going on the back, and you notice that I've written my name on that one because I travel a lot and I take Durkee Frames with me, and I didn't realize my name was on that, so I apologize. But I'm turning the connector part of my frame towards me. I've got my sticky back stabilizer here. I'm going to do the same thing I did on the cap. I'm going to start up here at the very top. And then what I'm going to do is just pull that stabilizer nice and taut, get it down. If I need to tweak it, I can tweak it. And there you go. So I've got a nice, smooth, tight as a drum, right? And then what we're going to do is take our rotary cutter, see if it cooperates this time since it didn't last time, and just trim away all this excess. Again, the reason that we don't want you to fold that stabilizer up to the top of that frame is because it makes it to where it's really hard to get that sticky off of the top and sides of the frame. And we'll talk really quick in a minute about how to clean these frames. But once I've got this done, now you notice that I'm not working with this attached to my arm, but also my arm is not already on my machine. We're going to actually attach this once we've got our shirt on here. We'll attach this to our arm, and then we'll take this as a unit to our machine. You never want to try to attach this to the arm if the arm's already on the machine. You actually do it off the machine and then put it on as a unit. So I've got a polo here, very similar to the one that I'm wearing. And I've already went through the process and found the center point where I would like to have my design. So I've got my positioning sticker that came with my machine already placed exactly where I need that design to be. I've also, off camera, went in and I've taken and adhered a layer of no-show mesh or a cutaway to the inside of the polo. So this polo is knit, and whenever you want something that's got any kind of stretch to it to be embroidered, you need to actually have some sort of stabilizer adhered to the knit to stabilize that knit so that you don't wind up shifting the knit and then getting a lot of puckers and irregularities whenever you stitch. So this is going to be the part that goes towards the back of my machine. So the biggest opening on my shirt is the waist. So since the waist is the largest opening, that's the part that I'm going to have go towards the actual back of the machine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my frame. One thing about the frame, I don't know if you can see this or not, but on all of Durkee's hoops, they actually have centering notches on all 4 corners, right? So if you want to get really precise in your placement, those centering points come in handy. But because I am doing this on camera and can't really get to all of my tools, I'm going to eyeball it. And I'm going to show you how I eyeball it. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of lining up that positioning sticker so that it is lined up with those center notches. I'm going to kind of put it down, and then I'm going to use my finger to smooth everything down. And then I'm also going to use my fingers to kind of make sure that I do have it kind of sort of in the center. Because I have extra room in my frame, it doesn't have to be perfectly in the center, but I'd like it to be in the ballpark. Okay. So you can see I've got about the same distance from the sides. I've got about the same distance from the top and bottom, maybe a little bit off, but not too terribly off. Now that that's actually down, that's framed, that's hooped. So that's a lot easier than using like your traditional hoops that come with your machine. All I have to do at this point is just take these 2 connection points. I'm going to back up my thumb screws here. I'm going to slide the 2 pieces together so that they're nice and flush. And then I'm going to tighten these 2 thumb screws down. When you do this, the one thing that we always tell people is make sure that these 2 pieces of metal in the back, the 2 straight edges of the metal, are flush with one another. Because if you don't, I'll exaggerate here and do this, you can see now that they're not. So that means that my frame is not going to be straight on my machine. So as long as you make sure that both of those back edges are nice and straight against each other, you'll know that your frame is actually perfectly straight on your garment itself or on your machine. So that was tough, right? That was really hard. We just hooped our shirt. That's it. That's all you have to do. So we can now move over to the machine and talk about how we put that on if you want.
Okay, that'd be great. That was easy. My gosh, Mike, you make that look so easy. But I mean, I know it is. I mean, I've done it myself, and it just seems like it's, I've always had trouble getting when you're using a regular hoop to get it straight and then to get it clamped, and it seems like it's always moving. That just looks so easy, and I like that method really well just because it just makes it easier to me to get it straight and get it stuck down. So if you could now, can you show us how that can go onto a
absolutely.
machine?
So I'm going to move the camera. So if you want to take it off the screen so you don't see me moving the camera, that would be great. Not so we don't make people seasick.
All right. Well, I can tell a little bit about our giveaways.
Yeah.
And if you just want to go full screen there, Roger. So, hey, I want to tell everybody, if you're tuned in, you have a chance to win some great prizes today. So the way you win is you just make a comment or ask a question, and you can win one of our great prizes. So what we're doing is we have all of our event bags. And we have a bundle that you can buy on our website. I think it's $49, and you get 8 of the colors. And each one of these have a different saying on it. And so like this one says, when life gives you scraps, make a quilt. So each one has a little bit different saying. So we're going to give one lucky viewer that whole bundle of those. Then we have 3 different Durkee frames. We actually have the easy frames over here that are for your multi-needle. And that's just what Mike was just using, was one of the brackets that goes on the multi-needle with the one of the frames, the multi-frames. We actually have a hoop frame like he showed earlier that goes on the multi-needle, and that will go on the brother or the baby lock. And we have for the 1 needle, our flatbed embroidery machine, we have a 5x7. So how this works, this fits inside your 5x7 frame that comes with either a brother or a baby lock machine, 1 needle flatbed, and this is the hap hoop, and we're giving that away. So those 3 things, lucky winner is going to win the bags, and then our grand prize today is going to be the brand new release of the Encore sewing machine. This has 200 stitches. It's even got the alphabet, and it clamps up on the handle. You can clamp it up there and see the alphabet. This thing, we had 2 of our customers actually took one home and sewed with it. And these ladies, one of them had owned a Luminaire, a Brother Luminaire. The other one owned a Viking Icon, or was it an Epic, Kyle, or Icon? Epic. Yeah, it was a Viking Epic. And they actually took it home, did all the stitching with it. And I asked them, I said, try to find the same stitches on both machines and stitch them out. So they did that, and we brought it and let 3 or 4 different people try to see which machine was which, and they couldn't tell the difference. But actually, 2 of the people guessed wrong, even, and the other people just said we can't tell. It looks the same. So that's how we're so proud of this machine. This is an exclusive machine made just for Sewing Machines Plus. The Encore brand is, and we're really, really pleased. This is our first sewing machine that we've had exclusive to us, and we're super, super proud of it. And so one lucky winner is going to go home with one of these today. And so we're going to have more videos and more information, but they are on our website. You can buy them right now. They're $299 intro level price, and we're super proud of it. So we're going to get to give one of those away. And so I think Mike is ready now. Let's go back and see if Mike can show us if he's at it by his multi-needle. Yep, there he is. So Mike's there with his Baby Lock 10 needle. So Mike,
all right,
there he is.
Yeah, I'm back. So all I've done is I've gotten my A-arm on my machine. So the A-arm is you get 2 arms whenever you buy a multi-needle machine, either Baby Lock or Brother. You get an A-arm and a B-arm. The A-arm is on, and you can kind of see over here on the side, I've got 1 click over to the right adjusted. This is going to put me in that 8x12 position. So if you try to put your frame on and it doesn't fit, it looks like it's too small of a frame for your actual machine, chances being this has not been moved. It's actually probably all the way over here in the 8x14. You need it to be in the 8x12. And then I've got my frame here so that I've got everything ready. And you can see if I kind of hold this up, I've got a clear shot. This is where the actual free arm is going to go. So I've kind of laid my shirt flat because I had some extra fabric. I'm going to take and lay this in, make sure I'm not hitting my needle bar. And then I'm going to take and snap this into place. And the most important thing is when you're working on a multi-needle, make sure that both sides of your frame snap into those alignment posts, because a lot of times people will put this on and they're not paying attention to those 2 locations. And so like, for instance, if I kind of pull this up there, this one's not in place now. So as this sews and it vibrates, it'll eventually pop in place. And once it pops in place, it will misalign and you'll actually wind up with your design not being properly aligned and it'll be a mess. So just make sure both are in place. And then all I'm going to do is take my extra fabric and kind of push it out of the way. And then just like that, I am ready to sew. I've got a nice flat sewing area ready to go. I can use the alignment tools that are on my machine to read that positioning sticker so that positioning sticker is recognized, and the machine will automatically align my design exactly where it needs to go, and you're ready to go. And here's the really cool thing, Blaine, for anybody that wants to see the left-right chest embroidery that we're talking about right now, and you want to see it from beginning to end, and you want to see it kind of step-by-step and close up, Brent has a lot of really great project tutorials that are on his website. So you can just go to the Durkee website and go underneath his videos. And this is one of the ones that I do on there. So you can actually watch the entire process, including the stitch out and the removal of the shirt from the frame itself.
Okay, we'll get Kyle to put that in the links on the comments. We'll put Brett's website so everybody can go through that, maybe see some of those tutorials.
And then to do the cap frame,
yeah,
I'm going to actually take my table and attach. You don't have to have your table on to do a cap. I just like to do it just to have some work surface, right? Because it does give you a place to kind of rest things if you're working on stuff and you're doing like appliques or something like that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and just flatten out the back of my cap here. And then I'm taking and just running this up to the edge of my needle bar. And you notice I'm just kind of using my fingers to make sure nothing's getting caught on that needle bar. And then the same thing, I'm going to make sure it pops in place on both sides. Once it's in place, I just kind of use my fingers here to get things out of the way. And then I'm ready to go. I'm going to use my alignment tools again to get everything lined up, make sure it's nice and where it's supposed to be when I get ready to stitch. And you're ready to go. So you can see you get quite a large working area there as far as the size that you can get onto your design itself. And that's it.
Oh, that's great. That, it's so easy. So I know the process, is very similar to the flatbed machine as well. So if anybody's got a flatbed, the hooping is going to be the same, and then it pretty much goes on there. So one of the questions I forgot to ask to Brett, how many different brands of machines do y'all have hoops that fit for? Or there's Brett. Hey,
Hello.
Brett, there he is. Hey, I wanted to ask you a question. How many different brands of machines do you have hoops that fit that for? Like, I know we have a lot for brother and baby lock. Do we have any that go for other machines?
Blaine, the answer to that gets just a little bit complicated. Let me say it this way. In the multi-needle world, we have cap frames, traditional plastic hoops. Most of the products that we have available for most every multi-needle machine that's manufactured around the world. Now, keep in mind that when you get into some machines that are made in China, it may be one manufacturer that manufactures under 4, 5, 6, 8 different names, but still the same frame fits on the machine. So there's a lot of different names, but the predominant names that have been around for a long time, the major commercial brands, and I'll name just a few, but companies like Tajima and SWF, Happy, those types of companies. We serve Barrett for sure. We've got all the frames and hoops for them. But then when you get into the cap frames, the single needle cap frame, we have it available for 3 different brands of machines. We have it obviously for brother and baby lock, but then we also, and this is specific for the Janome, I think it's the E400 and 500 series machines, we have an insert for that machine as well. We also have the multi-needle cap frame available for Janome MB4 and MB7, along with, again, the commercial machines. So pretty wide variety of all the ones that we've got. And I'm not trying to drive people to our website, but if you go to our website, obviously, they're all pretty much listed there. One other thing, if I may, Blaine, I'd like to add to what Mike was saying, and he does such a fabulous job showing the products. But a couple of things I'd really like to make clear. If you saw when Mike was working with the multi-needle easy frame, there's a red label on the frame. And one of the things that label says is the size of the frame. And when it says, for example, the one he was using for the polo shirt, 5x4, we identify on each of our multi-needle easy frames the actual sewing field. So when we say 5x4, that's not an inside dimension, that's actual sewing field. If you measured that frame, the inside it would be 6x5, allowing a ½ inch all the way around the perimeter for the presser foot so you don't hit the frame. The second thing I want to emphasize, and I'm sure Mike can talk about this a great deal more than me, Mike mentioned perfectly so that with the single needle easy frames for the flatbed machines, the machine recognizes the hoop. So therefore, even though it is an aftermarket hoop, the machine recognizes it. The chances of you ever hitting a frame, very slim to none. Please trace your design anyway. But with the multi-needle machine, it absolutely does not recognize the frame. It does not. When you put those arms in the blue adapter arm into the A arms of your machine, that machine thinks it has a 12x8 hoop in it. It does not. So in this case, you've got to be smarter than the machine. And Mike can talk about it a lot more professionally in detail than I can. But make sure you center the number 1 needle in the middle of the frame that you're using. Trace your design. Make sure that it fits comfortably inside the frame you're using before you stitch. And if you'll do that, your success rate is going to be outstanding.
Great. Hey, I think you explained it very well. So that was awesome explanation. And I wanted to just, everybody know that we talked a lot about brother and baby lock, but I mean, I know we sell a ton of the Janome MB4 and MB7 frames because we sell probably more of those 2 machines than anybody in the country as well. And we sell a ton of the Durkee frames for those 2 products. So I just want to make sure everybody knew that there was other brands, machines that you had hoops for. So thank you for that information. So, hey guys, we all ready to give something away?
Yeah.
All right. Well, hey, let's get us a winner, and we're going to give our bag set away first. And so, lucky winner that asked a question. Now, do we have anybody's got any questions for Brett or Mike while we have them on air? Go ahead and ask a question if you got a specific question, and we'll get those to them before we get these guys off here. But we'll go ahead and start trying to pick a winner. And Roger and David back there, if y'all can get us a winner, and we're going to go ahead and give our bags away. So we got a whole bunch of them. And so I don't know if anybody's ever seen all of our bags, but they all have different sayings on them. And this one is life gives you scraps, make a quilt. And this one, Live life one stitch at a time. I've got one in here, Brett, that you're going to love. This is Quilter's Rules. It has a lot of different things on there. I'm trying to find the one that Brett's going to like. Who you calling a fat quarter?
Wait a minute. Hold on. I resemble that statement.
Okay. That wasn't the one I had for you, though. But anyway. All right. And this one is, I got to tell everybody this story every time I show this, but I was at the Baby Lock Convention, and y'all guys were there in St. Louis about 2 years ago or 3 years ago. I can't remember when it was. 2 years ago, I guess. And I don't know if y'all remember, were y'all there at the opening ceremonies when they had the motivational speaker there?
I was not.
Okay, were you there, Mike? Okay.
Yeah.
So they had this motivational speaker up, and he was telling everybody, well, motivational speakers, what's Brett, you used to be one, a motivational speaker, but they, you usually wherever corporation you're talking for, you kind of incorporate their industry into your speech.
Yes.
So he was incorporating our business into his speech, and he kept referring to everything as blankets. Well, my grandmother used to make blankets and all this. So you could kind of hear this hiss around the whole audience. It was just kind of kept gathering, Well, all of a sudden this lady yells out, "They're called quilts, not blankets." And the place just, went crazy. And I was sitting by one of our employees named Deb Donovan was sitting beside me. And I looked at her a minute. I went, "Oh, that's a T-shirt." So I was like, I got to make a T-shirt. But I didn't make a T-shirt, but I sure did make a bag. So that's where that saying came from. So
great.
I wish I knew who the lady was. I'd go up and thank her. I thought that was so funny when she said that. And then, hey, your husband called and said, "Buy anything you want." That's one of the sayings. And that's an actual true statement too. It says, "We all come with baggage. Mine's just full of fabric." And Brett, this one's just for you. I like big hoops, and I cannot lie.
I'm all in.
So anyway, we're going to get, there's our winner. Hey, congratulations, Nancy. So Nancy, make sure that you email me to CEO@SewingMachinesPlus.com, your shipping address, and we'll get those 8 bags sent out to you today. So just make sure you email.
Congratulations.
Yeah, awesome. So let's go ahead and give away this single needle hat hoop, the Durkee hat frame, and let's give this one away. And this will fit either the Brother or Baby Lock, any of the machines that have a 5x7 hoop, and this will actually fit inside that hoop, and you'll be able to do a hat on a flatbed single needle machine. So do we have a winner we can pull up for that? All right, so Kyle is pulling the winner up. And while Kyle's doing it, I want to make a real quick announcement too. Make sure y'all mark your calendars for next week. We're going to, on 14th and 15th, we're going to have our new product launch extravaganza. We're going to stream it live all day long, so you can watch it from wherever you're at all day, 8 hours on Friday and Saturday. And one will be in our San Marcos store, and on day 2 on Saturday the 15th will be in our San Diego store. And actually, Mike Johns is going to be on there with one of the new Baby Lock products. And so we're going to have a lot of the new manufacturer products that are released going to get seen for the first time. So make sure you join in. All right, so we have a winner. Desiree, congratulations. All right, so let's put this to the side. And make sure you email me, Desiree, your email or your shipping address and name and everything, and we'll get that out to you. All right.
Hey,
so
Blaine, let's tell everybody really quick about prepping their hoops and cleaning their hoops, since we're giving them away, right?
Yes, I forgot about that. We'll do that. So
Yeah,
let me
if you are one of these lucky winners.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do it like how are they going to do it? Show them on what they need to do.
What you're going to do is when you first get your frame, right? Whenever you first get your frame, it doesn't matter whether you've got I've got one of the sturdy frames here. If you've got one of the cap frames, or if you've got one of the easy frames, what you're going to want to do is, before you ever use it, on the back, notice that I'm on the back of my frame, take one of the products that have like a citric oil type chemical in it. It's not chemical, it's all natural, but citrus oil, something like Goo Gone, Goof Off, anything, orange oil, anything like that. You're going to take and wipe that on there, and then wipe it off. So you're going to think you're not really doing anything, but you're seasoning that frame. You're seasoning it and getting ready to use. Then what you're going to do is just as you use it, because you seasoned it, it'll be easier and easier to take all of that off of the hoop. But if you had forgot to do that, or were never told to do that, or you just maybe let them get away from you a little bit and kind of got messy, there's a really great product that you can go pick up from one of the like dollar type stores, one of those kinds of things, called Totally Awesome. And a lot of you guys will probably be familiar with that already, because it's one of the things I know Cindy Hogan talks about a lot, and I know Cindy is on here quite a bit. So Totally Awesome, great product. This is what it looks like. Okay. You can see the name of it right there. Totally Awesome. You can pick those up at your really discount stores and stuff. And this stuff is wonderful. You actually just take, once you need to clean it up, you spray it over the back, let it sit for a few minutes, and then you'll literally be able to take a paper towel and just wipe away any of the residue that's on the back of it. And this doesn't have like a harsh chemical smell or anything like that to it. So it's not something that's going to be bad for you to use in a closed space. But the prep, the one that we talk about, actually prepping your frames, talking about the citric oils and stuff like that. If you're sensitive to citric smells or citric things like that, make sure you do it outside, because those really have a really strong citrus smell to them. Most of them are orange oil, so they'll smell very much like orange. So if that bothers you, just make sure that you do it. So like when we teach classes, we don't do this in the class just because of people having sensitivities to smells and things like that. So, but if you'll do that, it almost makes it to where the backs will just peel away. They'll just peel off. You won't have any problem getting the actual sticky off of the back of your frame at all.
Tips, great tips. So our next one we're going to give away is the hat hoop for the multi-needle. So there's our winner, Dorothy Mullins. Congratulations, Dorothy. So make sure you email me, Dorothy, and your shipping address, and we'll get that shipped out to you today. And then our next winner is going to be for the multi-hoops. And this is the one, the easy hoops for the multi-frame. And it comes with quite a few different ones. And it's got an 8x8. And as Brett was talking about earlier, it has the red little tag on there, and it actually shows you the size. So it has an 8x8, and that's the sewing field, a 7-inch by 5-inch, a 5x4, and a 2x4 all come with it. And so this will be actually for the brother or baby lock multi-needles. And there you go. So let's find us a winner for that. Bert Cook. Congratulations,
Yay.
Bert. So there's all of our Durkee frames. So our next giveaway is going to be our machine. So what do y'all think about that? Some lucky winner is going to win a brand new Encore machine. And we'll give that thing away, and we'll actually hopefully get it shipped out today to you. So this thing weighs 12 pounds. So it's not just a super, super lightweight machine, but it's light compared to a lot of them out there. But this is a great little portable machine if you go into quilting retreats or wherever you want to have. Very manageable at 12 pounds. And it's a sturdy machine. So it's not one of these little plastic throwaways. It is a very nice machine. And there's our grand prize winner, Linda. So congratulations, Linda. So she's going to be a proud owner of a Encore sewing machine. So we'll get that shipped out to you. Linda, make sure you email us at CEO@SewingMachinesPlus.com with your shipping address. And we will get all the prizes sent out, and hopefully we'll get them out today to everybody. So, hey, bring up Brett and Mike again on the screen there. Guys, thank y'all so much for spending some time with us this morning. I know both of y'all are extremely busy, and we appreciate you coming on and helping us. And we love the Durkee frames. And I know, Mike, you being a Baby Lock ambassador, you use those, and so that's a pretty good endorsement if you're using them. And we're going to see you again next weekend showing some of the new Baby Lock products that just got released. So we'll see you then. And hey, Brett, I'm coming to see you in North Carolina in the fall when the leaves are changing.
Come right on. We'll look forward to seeing you.
All right. So, hey, guys, thanks for joining us today, and we sure do appreciate it. And look forward to seeing y'all again soon.
Thank you for having us.
Everybody. Thank you so much.
Everybody give them a big hand. Awesome job, guys. So, hey, everybody, I'm glad y'all joined our show today. I know we're running, what are we at, about an hour, guys? Hour 20 minutes. We ran 20 minutes over. So sorry. We try to keep this down to an hour, but some days when we have some great guests and it's very interesting, we kind of run over. So thank y'all for joining in. We appreciate it. In 2 weeks, we're going to have another show coming up on what's the date? The 20th? Is that right? I think the 20th is going to be our next show, guys. And so we'll have a special announcement on that day concerning our Facebook show. We're going to have a new twist coming to you. And so we'll make that announcement on the 20th. Make sure you join in. And again, set your reminders, everyone, that we are going to have our new product launch party on the 14th and 15th. We really hope that you'll sign up. You have to sign up to join the show, and you'll get a unique link that you can, it'll come to you in an email form that you'll be able to get into the show. That's the only way you're going to be able to see it. Don't forget about the Durkee specials today. Kyle is going to put the link in the comments for the Google Sheets. Go on there, put your name. If you're interested in getting some Durkee frames, we have the best discount of the year that we're going to give you. I can't say it on the air because it's so low, but we're going to really have a good price on those. And we want you to get the Google Sheets. We'll have somebody in our call center give you a call and can tell you exactly what the pricing is going to be on the one you're looking at. And so we hope that you'll take advantage of that and get some of these great Durkee hoops. The other thing, make sure you mark your calendars for that. And then, Kyle, what are the dates for? We have a couple more events that are coming up that are virtual that we'd love for you to sign up. One is on the 28th, and that is we have So Steady. That's right, So Steady. We're going to have a So Steady event on the 28th. Again, we want you to sign up for. It's going to be a great event. And then we have an OESD event, and that is coming up as well. What's the date on that? Do y'all remember? It's the Friday the week before.
That is the 21st.
The 21st. Okay, so I think that's right. The 21st and the 28th are the two shows. We're going to get that out. Make sure you keep a look out for that on our emails, and we'll have it on our Facebook as well. But there's two great events that you all don't want to miss. And then you most certainly don't want to miss our product launch event. That's going to be an incredible event. And we hope everybody marks their calendars down for that. And we're going to have $12,000 worth of giveaways. A lot of sewing machines, a lot of things that we're giving away. So make sure you're on there. You have to be basically present to win. So you have to be watching and to claim your prize. So if you go away for a couple hours and you may have missed a prize you won. So you have to be present to win in the store or online at the time when we're giving away. So anyway, guys, thanks again for everybody joining in. Hey, I want to thank Kyle, David, and Roger back there. Hey, Roger, wave, everybody. This was Roger's first show of directing the show. He did a great job. Thanks, buddy. And anyway, as always, we're glad y'all tuned in, and we will see y'all the next time.